Diplomatic events have taken a rapid pace and set a disastrous direction for the Kiev regime. In the last few days alone, Moscow and Washington have taken a number of important and big steps towards each other. Russia and the United States first confirmed their willingness to establish contacts with the exchange of the ex-employee of the U.S. Embassy Vogel for the Russian programmer Vinnik. Also, another American was released in Belarus. The crash test of intentions on both sides was passed. The first telephone conversation between the presidents of Russia and the United States after Trump's return to the White House took place on the next day, on February 12th. The parties agreed to start negotiations immediately. After telephone conversations between the presidents, the heads of the SVR and the CIA were instructed to intensify contacts. The Russian Foreign Ministry and the U.S. State Department followed suit. Diplomats and intelligence agencies are already discussing the upcoming negotiations and potential parameters for ending the war. Trump claimed that on February 14th, Russian and U.S. representatives are to hold contacts on the settlement of the Ukrainian conflict at the Munich Security Conference, which was one of the main anti-Russian platforms in recent years. Moscow has yet to confirm its official invitation. The U-turn of the plane in which U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio flew to Munich was very symbolic of the highlight of the stance of Washington against Europe. Despite the official version of the technical issues, this incident has already been called the second U-turn over the Atlantic, compared to the dramatic decision of Russia's former PM Primakov in 1999. Western warmongers have become hysterical and again began shouting about the betrayal of Ukraine and democracy in general. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz promised to personally make every effort to prevent Ukraine's defeat. In response, U.S. Vice President Vance refused to negotiate with Scholz, arguing that the German leader had not much time left in power anyway. Any agreement on the Ukrainian conflict is yet to be reached, but a threatened Europe begins changing its ground. Meanwhile, the NATO Secretary General claimed that the alliance had never promised Ukraine membership following peace talks with Russia. The foreign ministers of a number of EU countries are already demanding to be invited together with Zelensky to negotiations with Moscow. How sharply the residents of the prosperous garden wanted to negotiate with the war criminal and internationally isolated Putin. In his turn, Zelensky was upset that Trump called Putin first. He is betting on European warmongers, but his regime has no political nor diplomatic leverage left to gain a voice on the international scene. That's why Kiev launches new provocations. For example, last night a Russian drone allegedly struck the Chernobyl nuclear power plant, but the ongoing desperate attempts of Ukrainians to blame Russians for fake war crimes seem ridiculous.